Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another video. So, I'm going to do something a little bit different than I usually do in this channel. I think this is not the first time me doing this, but I am going to open the Chronicles Spirit Charmer deck. And while I open this, like, oil foil structure deck, I kind of want to talk a little bit about it, and I kind of want to talk about the current TCG Yu-Gi-Oh meta game and how more or less relevant this structure deck can be for the foreseeable future. Uh, but yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So you guys probably already know by now. Some people probably don't know. I know that I almost didn't knew when this came out, but this is the second Chronicles deck. The first one being Fallen and the Virtuous. I did not buy the Fallen and the Virtuous structure deck, and the reason I didn't buy the branded one is because I had almost every card in it. The only cards I didn't had was the Dragon that Devours Dogma. I didn't have Falling on the Virtuous spell, and I was missing a few key cards like Alba Lenatis, like Fusion Deployment, Fusion Retribution. But thankfully, some people at my locals who did mass open the product managed to give me all the cards in it, the cards that I was missing. So it kind of just alleviated me from buying from this set. You can see right here in the just by opening this structure deck, you can see that the secret rare is Spellbook of the Grand Circle, which is a new card. And I kind of want to talk about this new card, and this is the reason I wanted this structure deck to begin with. So, for those who don't know, this is a normal spell card, and that card reads: add 4 Charmer monsters with different attributes from your deck, graveyard, and/or banishment to your hand, then shuffle 2 cards. The other effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard and fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using monsters from your field and or from your hand. But one of the monsters has to be a familiar possessed. And like when that monster is fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects upon the fusion summon of the monster. So essentially what this card is, it's both a searcher and a fusion spell. It does have a really big drawback, and the drawback is you have to play Charmers in your deck. And not only do you have to play Charmers, this mandatory has to add 4. So if you have less than 4 in your main deck and or your graveyard, you cannot activate or resolve this card. Now, before we talk about more about this card and the structure itself, let's talk about the rest of the stuff that the structure comes with. This comes with each of one of the Charmers, and it also comes with a familiar possessed version of each Charmer, and it also comes with a Channeler version of each Charmer. So, for those who need a recap, the level 3s are flip monsters that take a monster out of their respective attributes. The familiar possessed can summon themselves by tributing a monster of the same attribute as a Charmer alongside the Charmer of their respective attribute. And the Channeler monsters discard themselves alongside an attribute to search a monster of that same attribute. They do have some restrictions, like for example, Area can only add higher levels of the whatever you discarded. Hida can only add with higher attack. Wind adds 1500 or less defense, and I think also it's like 1500 or less attack, or I think it's less attack or less than 1850 attack. So they're not all the same; they are somewhat different. So In order to resolve the spellbook of the Grand Circle, you need some of these monsters. Now you're probably thinking, why can the channelers work if they're not named Charmer? Well, each channeler is treated as a Charmer monster. So you can use Charmers as well as channelers for this. Now, why do I really like this card? The reason I like this card a lot is because this fusion spell works very different from regular fusion spells that we have in our current meta game. And this card actually bypasses a lot of popular cards right now. Like, for example, the fusion effect of this card can work under Retaliating Sea, and it dodges Retaliating Sea because it is not an initial activation to special summon a monster. The initial activation is to add monsters. The other thing that makes this card really good is because the effect to fusion summon is a graveyard effect. It just starts like it's a spell effect, it's not a spell activation. So it also dodges Retaliating Sea that way. Not only that, but it also dodges Dracotail Flame, and it also dodges Radiant Typhoon Mandate. Two really popular cards right now. And upon the fusion summon, your opponent cannot respond to this card, which is already really strong. Like, let's say, for example, you mix this with Dracotails, or you mix this with Chadal, or you mix this with, like, Branded, and you just end up using this card. Your opponent cannot do anything about whatever monster you're summoning. Imagine you have, like, all 4 Charmer monsters in your hand, and you just use for an Arthalion, and you banish this, right? The Arthalion all of a sudden can bounce 5 cards, and your opponent cannot respond to that effect. Like, that's really strong for the current format. We're in a format where breakers are popular. However, anti-breaker type strategies are also really popular. Which is another topic I'm going to bring up in a moment when I discuss the rest of the cards. So, this comes with Gigabyte, Inari Fire, Rianuru, and Nefariousness. And they all have a possessed version as well. Gigabyte used to be popular back in a couple of years ago when Bahamut Shark was debuted. Sadly, Bahamut Shark is no longer is already in the Forbidden Limited list. So, you know, the utility behind this card, besides like rank 4 toolboxing in this deck, is probably not gonna be utilized as much. None of these other ones saw any amount of play that I can recall. I do like that Rianryu is a level 4 Wind Dragon monster. For those who don't know, Dragonity is my favorite archetype of all time. So any card that just can be an enabler in those type of strategies can also be played. So all of these monsters can also be special summoned if you control a spellcaster. In the Dracotail deck, this one's the most relevant one because it is a dragon. Besides that, I don't think any of these would see any amount of play. Something I do have to mention is all of these Familiar Possessed, they have a really interesting mechanic, same as the other Charmer monsters. These can be special summoned directly from your deck, just by tributing a spellcaster and whatever attribute is mixed with them. That's really important because there are some key strategies and plays that some people can end up doing in this deck. And let's say, for example, you have like a water monster and like a spellcaster, you can summon this, and this archetype, maybe they have it. This structure does not have it, but this monster specifically can add like a spiritual water art, and all the spiritual arts are pretty cool. But yeah, that's it for all of these. What else comes in the structure? So, Lord of the Heavenly Prison Not the best reprint. We've already have this card reprinted in the past, but it is a really cool one for some certain strategies, especially since board breakers are really popular right now. All right, so next topic, the Horus monsters. So, and this goes to my next topic right now, and the other thing I kind of wanted to talk about. So, Maze of Muertos already debuted around a week or so, and in that set we have something called the Dark Magician of Destruction, which I probably will make a more focused video in like another time. That monster requires a spellcaster that's level 6 or higher after you activated a spell card. Imseti is a spellcaster monster, and it's level 8. Right now, the most popular engine that enables the DMod strategy is Azamina with the Diabell Star Witch, because we still have Wanted and we still have Witch, both at 3 here in the TCG. However, another really good supplementary engine that can be played alongside that can be Horus, because Imseti is already a starter for your Horus plays, and Imseti, if you resolve Imseti and Imseti grabs you like the King Sarcophagus, that's already access to the Dark Magician of Destruction. So before this structure deck, these were very hard to get, at least specifically Imseti and the Kingsark. They were not completely cheap. So this was a really welcome addition to the structure deck. I don't know if we're going to have any more reprints of these in the future, maybe a rarity collection. But for now, I'm gonna say these are already worth picking up, especially since you can play the DMod engine with them. Next, you got Fairy Tail Luna, which is the last 1850 monster in this deck. So something important about Fairy Tail Luna, in Blazing Dominion, we are getting a full-fledged archetype revolving around the Fairy Tail monsters. And the Fairy Tail Luna is pretty much the most important one in the strategy. In the OCG, that deck is not super popular, but a variant of that deck alongside Magistus has been seeing a good amount of play. And it's one of the most oppressive decks that is currently in the OCG at the moment. Its power level is dwindled because of the fact that it is not a strategy that can play Prodalis Harmonia, because it is mostly fusion and link based. However, you can play some other really cool stuff in that strategy, like for example Dominus Spark. This is a card to keep an eye on if you're buying these, or if you like want to like pull like prepare for the future, because I do wholeheartedly believe that Fairy Tail as an engine might be seeing some play. I mean, who knows? Maybe in this Charmer structure deck as well. The last card in the monster section is Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. This can search for the Grand Circle. If you opt to want to play a focus build of whatever hybrid playing this circle, you can just like play multiple copies of like the Spellbook Magician, and that enables you getting access to the Grand Circle. This was the secret rare that we got out of the opening, which means it also comes with an ultra rare one. I might pick up just the playset of the future secret rares in the future. Yeah, this is the card that sold me on this set. Let's put it here on the side. You got the Spirit Charmers, which is a double searcher for familiar process cards. You got the Grand Spiritual Art Issuing, which is it's a really cool gimmicky field spell. It kind of soft negates a spell card, and it doesn't start a chain to negate. Uh, which is pretty cool because it can bypass like speed 4 effects. It can also bypass like certain cards like Forbidden Droplets, for example. Uh, Pretty cool card. Um, you do have to be mindful. You do need 1,500 spellcasters for this to work. But yeah, if you're going to play a strategy with Charmers, this card is not a bad card to consider in your strategy. You got Awakening of the Familiar Possessed. Yeah. With the Fairy Tale monsters debuting in Blazing Dominion, they all have 1850. So this is like a consistency card that you can use in that strategy. You got Spellbook of Secrets. This can search for this Grand Circle, so that already makes this card pretty viable as a card to be considering in this deck. You got Spellbook of Knowledge, which is another card you can search with the Spellbook cards. You got Magicalized Fusion. This is basically Miracle Fusion for spellcasters. Pretty cool. There are some spellcasters you can make very specifically. I remember back in the day, people were using this to like turbo out Winda with Shadows. You got Dark Ruler, and you got Sol and Luna. Sol and Luna is here because all the original Charmer monsters are flipped monsters. In Blazing Dominion, we are getting another card that is just as good as Sol and Luna and can be played in this strategy. But for now, Sol and Luna, it's not a bad card to be putting here. It already has a couple of reprints already, especially like in Phantom Revenge and in Rarity Collection 2, if I'm not mistaken. So that's it for the spell cards. For traps, you got Possessed Partnerships, you got Unpossessed, you got Azurune. These are not that great. The fact that Azurune is here already tells us that we also have Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette Rabbit is a really cool generic Link 2 monster, especially since we are now losing a lot of really cool, well, I'm not gonna say cool, a lot of strong generic like end boards that you can make with monsters by funneling card advantage. So I'm not gonna say Azurune is like the best choice for this with the rabbit. I am not a big fan of Azurune because it is usually a brick. Like, you could side it if you know that you're going first, and this is like this can be a negate for inherent summons, which is really strong. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Azurune. The other traps are okay. So that's it for the main deck. Now, they gave us a bunch of extra deck monsters as well. You already saw Silhouette Rabbit. I'll leave the best one for last. You got one of each Charmer, at least the 4 attribute ones. You got Quintet Magician, which makes sense since we already saw the Magicalized Fusion. For those who don't know, this is a really cool card. This can just nuke the board upon summon. Yeah, and this cannot be tributed or destroyed, which is really strong. Sadly, the nuke effect is not a trigger effect. Or let's see. Oh yeah, it is a trigger effect. So if you use the spellbook to summon this, it's basically an uncounterable board new, which, again, it's not that bad in some game states. It is really hard to make because it needs specifically 5 spellcasters, but I digress. And then you have zombie vampire. There are horus monsters in this deck, so the horus monsters are the way you can make this. I don't know if this needed a reprint, but now you know why this is not on the forbidden list. In all honesty, this is just one of those cards that it doesn't seem that strong on paper, but like in actuality, it is very oppressive. And it just enables a lot of non-engine slop to be a thing. Then you got Celine, and then you got Access Code. I'm not a fan of this package. Some strategies, like for example, Sky Striker a couple years back, by using Fed Veiler with Halki 5 Rex. You had a few other strategies that just enabled this. This is an FTK enabler. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about the Exodia deck that Jeff Leonard piloted at a YCS one time. There is like a pseudo loop with this. I've even seen that pseudo loop in Malice being done in the past. So yeah, another really strong card. And then you got the last card, which is Charmers of the Grand Circle. This is the card that you're meant to make with the Spur Bulk of the Grand Circle. And this has 4 effects, and every single effect is a very strong one. Like this can add 800 attack. This can bounce a card to the hand. This can special summon from the graveyard, and this can add a finally media process card. And the broken part about all those 4 effects is you can activate any effect any amount of times as long as you as much as the amount of charmers you make for it. So if you use 4 charmers, you can use any of the 4 effects, and you can use them in any sequence that you want. And the best part is, if you summon it with a Grand Circle, your opponent cannot respond to that. So you're basically funneling a lot of card advantage in your favor as a board breaking card, pretty much. So yeah. So that's kind of it talking about this structure deck. So I kind of want to talk about the structure deck as a whole because I know that not a lot of people are like this set. Not a lot of people have opened this set. And I feel like this set is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. Like, Grand Circle, both as a spell and as a monster, are really, really strong cards. These are probably not as good and as splashable as Fallen and the Virtuous. However, in the right hands, in the right strategies, this can just be utilized at a really strong, a really cool hybrid strategy. Another really cool thing about this is you can actually pair this structure deck with the branded one. Some of the Dogmatica monsters have 1500 attack, so it works like with the field spell, for example. You have spellcaster monsters in that archetype as well. Some of the extra deck monsters that you can make here, you can make with monsters from that structure deck as well. And monsters from that structure deck, you can make it with monsters from here as well. So that's another really cool thing about this structure deck as well. One thing I am disappointed in is they didn't reprint neither Dark or Lina. I don't know if they have plans for Dark and Lina in the future. We already saw that we're getting another fusion version of Win, the Wind Charmer, like very soon in the future. And if they did that for Win, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it for every other Charmer. And just giving ourselves more fusions just means more incentive for playing these Charmer monsters, or Familiar Possessed monsters, in our strategy. Because right now the biggest issue is that these charmers are pretty much bricks, right? Like there's no real card advantage that you're making out of them. The only real upside of these is if you resolve Grand Circle. Uh, but if we get more and more like generic fusion monsters or charmer fusion monsters rather, that uses all these charmer monsters, I think you can mitigate the fact that these are bricks. Also, in Blazing Dominion, we're getting a card that gives all of the regular flip charmer monsters an extra utility. Uh, and that card is actually pretty cool. You can use that alongside these. And that also enables you strategies into other spellcaster themes, like for example, Chadol, because that spell has AD changer like built into it. Uh, but yeah, uh, I kind of just wanted to jab about this structure for a little bit. I know that this is not the most interesting video, uh, but in the current format that we are at right now, the Dark Magician of Destruction is really popular. And if you're looking for a strategy that can enable the Dark Magician of Destruction, but but you don't want to play the Azamina engine, I feel like the Horus engine in this structure is really good. Not only that, you also have the Charmer monsters that can enable him. Like for example, you can actually use the Grand Circle to summon that Dark Magician of Destruction, which is something you probably didn't think about. Uh, but yeah, that's it from me. Until next time, keep practicing and keep dueling.